Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk with Lakeland Senior Paul Beaudoin. Well, Paul, heck of a bowler. You get the job done on the lanes, and I'm sure you're really enjoying your experience as a senior in high school. But tell us a little bit about your bowling game.
Oh, well, I started when I was about 10 or 11. I started it as a hobby with my dad. And then I just sort of picked it up, and then when my dad couldn't teach me any further, I started getting instructions from Ron Salvatore down at Idle Hours, and that's when my game really picked up.
Well, bowling some 300s, 800 series, stuff like that. Tell us a little about some of the milestones you hit along the way. As you mentioned when you started younger, tell us about some of your high games that you could remember as you got older. And those 300s, I'm sure, really stand out.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, my goals obviously weren't as high as they are now. At first, it was just breaking 200, maybe hitting a high 5, low 6, and then as I progressed, they all got a little steadily higher, where maybe went up to about 250, and then if I hit a medium to high 600, that was good, and then it went from that to if I could hit 700, and then 270, 280, and then where I am now, where it's nice, where I can hit the occasional 8 and throw the 300.
Let's talk about some of the awards you received recently. Those are growing in. You're going to get some opportunities to bowl in different parts of the country. But let's first up talk about some of the recent awards that you received.
Well, I won the Michael Meoni Award, which is the most valuable bowler in the NLBC. I had the high average, and I got the plaques for the 300 and 800.
Well, bowling an average 234, bowled that 300 on October 2nd. There's a lot of things to feel good about. You bowled another 300 game in December, and these are all sanctioned, right?
Yeah.
Paul, how about your future? You're a senior at Lakeland. Tell us about some of the things you plan on doing going forward.
Well, there's the Pennsylvania Junior Bowling Tour, and they offer tournaments all the way up until you're 21, so I mean, I'm definitely going to continue to do those, and I've been looking into some schools that offer bowling as a sport, so hopefully maybe I could bowl collegiate and then just try to continue bowling after that.
Paul, when you talk about your future, and obviously bowling's a big part of it, are there thoughts of you at what are you going to do next year? I know there's only a couple bowling schools out there. Is that something that you're looking at, or are you thinking of doing something different with your future?
No, there aren't many, and I have looked, and even if I don't go to a college that doesn't offer bowling, I'm definitely not going to give it up. I mean, there's a lot of tournaments out there and leagues, so definitely want to stick with it, though.
Talk about bowling on the high school level and trying to gain a little bit more popularity. In certain parts of Pennsylvania, it's popular. There's pretty strong leagues. Tell us about some of the teams that you compete with at Idle Hour Lanes.
Well, I bowl for Lakeland, and in the NLBC, it's just Lakeland, Mid-Valley, and Holy Cross. It's not considered a PIAA sport. They're just clubs. I know, like you said, there are certain parts in Pennsylvania where bowling is considered a PIAA sport. And I was talking with Ron, and he said how it would be a really big step if they could be considered a PIAA sport. And it's not as popular here as it is in some places.
Paul Beaudoin from Lakeland. He's a senior joining us here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Bowling's one of those sports. It's a lifetime sport. And, Paul, you're having so much success with the 300 games, the 806 series, stuff like that. Tell us about the family of bowlers, and you alluded to some of the people there at the bowling center, Ron Salvatore and so forth. Tell us about some of those people and the fraternity that you have amongst bowlers.
Well, as I said, it was just me and my dad when I first started. I have a couple other family members who bowl and try to help me out as much as I can. And along with the people at Idle Hours and the friends I've made along the way, they've all helped me and my game a lot.
Paul Beaudoin here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Paul, any other activities at Lakeland that you're involved with?
I played soccer for a couple years and baseball. I don't play them quite as much as I used to. I've sort of given bowling my main focus now. So.
Well, you're busy with work and, of course, doing some bowling and some various stuff with your family. So, Paul, we appreciate your time telling us a little bit more about your accomplishments. And, of course, we wish you well in your future endeavors, including on the bowling lanes.
All right, thank you.
Paul Beaudoin, senior from Lakeland High School, here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.